everybody, this is my first try at any kind of tutorial type video or any video showing you how I did something, so please bear with me, and if I do anything wrong or you'd like to see anything improved, please drop me a line in the comments and I'll work on it. But as a prototype, I'm going with this one, and I'm choosing to show you how to do the water droplets here, or how I do them, because this is from Colouring Heaven Fantasy Creature Special, which is the newest issue at the moment. I was on the Colouring Heaven Facebook group earlier on today, and people mentioned that they didn't quite know how to do these water droplets, and that was putting them off the picture. So I thought, well, I'll have a go, see how I would have done them. And this is a really quick and easy way to do them. It's not super realistic because the picture isn't super realistic, but this is how I came up with how I would cope with these water droplets. So here we go, this is how I did it, in case anybody's interested. First of all, I started just with a marker base, as I usually do these days for the leaf, and I'm going over the droplets as well as going over the leaf, because you want to base the water droplets in the lightest shade of what you're going to be using. So I'll just quickly go over this leaf here. You can see I have had a bit of a practice, and I started getting a little bit carried away doing a background and all that kind of stuff, so I thought, well, I'd better actually try and film something before I finish the whole picture without filming. So here we go. There we are. Just gone over the whole leaf with a layer of marker, and that marker is, you can see that is G220 lime green from the Hoo set. It's brush and chisel. So once I'd done the marker, I started to shade the leaf as I normally would, but leaving the droplets as they are for now, so as I would normally shade the leaf. This is Castle Art Chrome Green. Oops, there we go, 053 that I'm using. The same ones that I used for my colouring time lapse, which seemed to work quite well for leaves. So I thought, just to be quick, I'd use the same kind of colour combination to save messing about and trying to figure out a new one off the cuff. Just add in a few shadows and go around a couple of these water droplets just so I can quickly show you how I did them. And please forgive me for if I trail off or stop talking, because like I said, I've never done anything like this before, and I'm not really used to speaking for long periods of time, so I'll try my best to keep you up with what I'm doing, if nothing else. And if I don't mention something, you'll be able to see what I'm doing, so hopefully it shouldn't be as bad as what I'm thinking it might be. There we go, just going around, yeah, leaving the drops as being the lightest shade of the leaf, and using the chrome green to fill in the first kind of layers of the shadows. And there we go. I've left a little bit of light there, the lightest shade along the edges of where the veins in the leaf go, because I'm going to be using white highlights on the actual droplets of water, so I'm trying not to use my usual little white dots along the edges of everything, because that will kind of take away from the water. Well, I would imagine so. Like I said, I've never coloured water droplets before. This is just what I came up with after playing around a little bit this morning. So that's my first layer of the chrome green for the leaves. This is Terra Verde 064, that's Castle Arts as well, that I used in my time-lapse video. I used it on these other little leaves I've already done here during my practice. I'm trying to do this fairly quickly because obviously the water drops is what I wanted to focus on, but it's best just to give a background so that the colours actually make sense. That will do. Right, going in with Ivory Black 071, just to darken up here. For the shadow, this is for the shadow underneath the dragon's tail, because I suppose I need to mention that, as you can see from my other water droplets, I've imagined my light source to be coming from over on this side of the page, but towards the top. So the shadow the tail would be casting will be down here, and the spikes making their shadow there. And there you go. Oops, gone into the water drop there, but it shouldn't matter too much. Right, for the water drops themselves, because the light is coming down from this direction, I gave them a shadow on the opposite side of where the light would be coming from. A nice easy round shape, so it's very easy just to fill in a shadow. And there we go, just while I had the black in my hand there. Okay, I can build up the colour of these leaves even further, just to, obviously I have done here, I've worked on them a lot more. Just adding to the darker area there. And for the edges of these leaves, as the light is coming down this way, I've tried to leave this a little bit of the original marker shade showing, and I've tried to blend the green out a little bit towards the edges with this one, which is, oops, can you see? Warm grey light, and that is 120. Just adding a little bit of grey around the edge of the leaf, trying to blend out the green towards that light edge. And on the area that's furthest away from the light, I've gone right the way to the edge, blending in the green and going over my previous layers. You can work into that as much as you want, as little as you want. I will probably go back into it off camera, just to tidy it all up and make it more like the others, but this is just for a very quick demonstration. Anyway, as these drops are round, obviously you would shade them as you would shade a circle. The brightest highlights would be where the light is hitting them over there, and down in this bottom corner, or bottom edge rather, there would be some reflected light, not quite as bright as the top. So I'm going to add a shadow there. I'll do this one as well, even though it's not quite in the area I'm doing. Add the shadow there, leaving a little rim of reflected light along the bottom. Same this one here. These teeny tiny ones are rather difficult, but at least put a little dot there or something is what I've been doing. And you can go over this shadow with the green to make that look more like it could be part of the leaf. Oops, that one needs a shadow. And there we go. And then take a white gel pen, and on the edge where the light would be hitting it, which is around here, I gave it the highlight. You can add a few little more blobs or dashes around the edge, because water does tend to sparkle a little bit. Just added those along the edge there. And I probably really should have done this first, but some of these were standing out a little bit better when I added some of this green gold, just to give a little bit of warmth to it. Like that. And a little bit of black on the shadows that I've put inside the droplets. like that. And then just to finish him off, I went around the black edges with silver gel pen. Just covering the black lines. I thought the silver might be a little bit less harsh than using the white, plus we wanted the white to be the highlights where the light is shining onto it, so this is how I decided to cope with that. Of course, it's not the only way, it's how I would do it. There we go, that's how I did my water droplets. Leaf itself could probably do with a bit more depth and shading. On this one here, that seems to hang over the edge of a leaf. I added in, on these ones, I added in the black line just to try and continue where the leaf would have gone. There we go, something like that. Added in a bit of the darker green. Kind of curved there a little bit because the droplet is making a rounder shape. And again with the white gel pen. There we go. A few more lights around the edge of the drop there. And then around the edge with silver pen. There we go, and that's how I did the droplets on the leaves. And the rose itself was a little bit more difficult. Again, because I'd never tried doing these kind of things before, but because it was a paler colour. So, let me just, I based it with, before I start, I based it with, there we go, that's E280, that's sand white. Again, the same ones that I used for my time lapse, just to save me digging out any other markers. I'll just go with this petal here, just for a quick demonstration. There you go. Obviously I would base the whole thing with the marker, but just to show you how to do the water droplets, I'll leave it at that for now. And around the edges of my rose, I have used, very hard to get to focus, there we go. My light shade is Bengal Rose, that's 084. I've used Bengal Rose Deep, which is 085, and Indian Red Light, which is 027, and those are all Castle Arts as well. And usually when I do my roses, I like to make them cream with pink around the edges, so I'll just go with my old favourite just because I'm comfortable with doing it. And I'm trying to do it in little strokes, moving in towards where the centre would be, because that's how roses, that's how the colour kind of goes. In towards the centre. And there we go. And then with the second layer, this is the Bengal Rose Deep. Kind of breaking off the strokes a little bit, because obviously roses are natural and not entirely perfect. finally, right around the very edges, use Indian red. Again, leaving little strokes leading in to the middle of the rose. And sometimes there are, like I've done here, little kind of bits where the colour, oops, going the wrong way, the colour goes further down into the petal. So I like to put those in. There we go. And this one is burnt ochre, again what I used for my time-lapse video. Now we'll have to look up the number for this one. You can see it's so well used. It has completely worn off the end. But yeah, this is just to add a little bit of shading behind where this petal is, because as I've said, the light is coming from way over on the left, so this petal would be casting a shadow. And there would be shading here. This is going inside the petals, so we'll add a bit of shadow in there. And to blend all those colours together, I've been using my Arteza cream. Again, I would have to, there we go, Arteza cream. Again, I would have to look up that number because it's worn off. You can see the pencil is super short now because I have used it a lot. I've gone over all those colours to try and blend it together. Okay, and on to the droplets. And I found with the rose, after a bit of playing around, that the best thing to do is to use, I think this is my mid shade, yep, this is my mid shade to add in a shadow towards this side of the droplets. And then use the back for the shadow onto the petal, maybe adding a little touch into the actual droplet itself, but giving it a shadow on the petal like that. Just to make it look a bit more 3D. And then the same as the petals on the leaves, I'd used white gel pen to show where the light is coming from. A few little sparkles. And then going around the outline with the silver. I'm not sure my droplets on the rose itself are quite as successful as the ones on the leaves, but yeah, this is a really quick and easy way that I figured out to show the droplets. There we go. And that's how I've done it. So yeah, not scary, just that's really quick and easy. So that's how I've done my droplets on this picture, just in case anybody else was feeling a little bit intimidated. Getting carried away again. I did get carried away earlier by starting to do a background and all that kind of stuff, but I will in future videos show how to do this kind of paint splash background with pencils. Yeah, any other ideas for tutorials or things you want to see how I do, then yeah, drop me a line in the comments, and yeah, I shall try my best to get that done for you. Take care everybody, see you in future videos, bye.